Welcome to Mystical Messages. I am Hilary Harley, your podcast host. I am a soul guide and astrologer. Mystical Messages is your podcast gateway to discover and learn about the realm beyond the veil, including all things intuitive, metaphysical, and the healing arts. To learn more about my work or to book a session with me, please visit hilaryharley.com. If you would like to read my monthly forecast, you may find the full written transcript for all astrology episodes on my website. That way, if you hear something and want to re-listen to a forecast or to check a date of a cosmic event, you may find it on the written monthly forecast on hilaryharley.com. Today, I am so delighted to have two, not just one, but two very special guests joining me to talk about our collaboration, The Three Wise Women. We have Veronica Drake, spiritual mentor and intuitive guide, and Cathy Ripley Greene, medium extraordinaire. Welcome, ladies.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, gals.
Before I get too far into our conversation, this is going to be as light and relaxed as we really have had a guest conversation, because I've worked with these two really exceptional healing practitioners, healers, and metaphysical, magical, marvelous mavens for exactly 1 year. We are celebrating the first anniversary of the Three Wise Women. I believe our first episode came out in May, our first community gathering. So Veronica Drake can be found at www.veronicadrake.com. Cathy, our medium extraordinaire, may be found at Cathy with a C, Greene with an E, Cathy Ripley, Greene.com. Welcome. So how did we form? How did we come to form the Three Wise Women? And what is the Three Wise Women?
Well, I'm going to jump right in here and say we are wise, but we're also Weisenheimers and wisecrackers because we like having fun and we like having joy. And Hilary, so this is how I remember it. So I met you somehow through someone who we have in common, and I had a session with you, and then you had a session with me. And then Vee, I met you through someone that you and I have in common, and then we chatted away and met, and then Vee had never had a chart done. And so I sent her to Hilary. And the next thing you know, bada bing, bada boom, here we are.
Ta-da!
So I remember it.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
That's right.
So both of my sessions, I have to say, with each of you really blew me away. And I think there was just this mutual love fest going on. And truth be told, I've never met Vee. We call Veronica Vee endearingly. She lives in Eastern Pennsylvania, actually, in the town my mother was born in. And
Well, that's
Cathy,
pretty crazy in itself. I mean, Hilary,
right?
what are the chances of that?
Oh, Jill.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. And Cathy, have you met? We've only
No.
Okay,
Uh-uh.
so we've
We,
only conversed virtually. I've met Cathy because we're both in Massachusetts, but it was you, Cathy, that really found the need for the Three Wise Women. So,
well, here's the thing. Like, what I find to be magical is that, Hilary, you and I met, we had a Zoom relationship or friendship. And then, as you recall, because you will, I received a text, Cathy, I'm going to go this summer for my birthday. You were celebrating your birthday, and you were decided to go to Lilydale, the
Hmm.
home of many mediums in upper state New York. Where should I stay? You said, and I said, well, I don't know. I've never been there, but I've always wanted to go. And while you were typing to me, come with me, I was typing to you, can I go with you? And so that's what we met. I showed up at your house and off we went to Lilydale, which was a wonderful experience. But my point in bringing that up and bringing up that V and you and I have never physically been in the same place together, that's what this energy is all about. That's the connection. And
Hmm.
that's what Three Wise Women is all about. Making connections for, our community, conversations, really supporting people. And the people that we have in our circle right now, they're all over the place. We have people in California, we have people in the Midwest, Pennsylvania, right? V, we have some clients in there. Back here in the East Coast, we've got people all over the place. And it's truly kind of like our relationship is. It's
Hmm.
perfect
I
in
think
Hmm.
many ways.
what one of the things I love about it is, people always think there's such an alluring woo around the work. And I love that we get to showcase just how, and listen, I'm using air quotes for a reason, how normal we really are, because we
Hmm.
are just three, not just, we are three wise, experienced women with what, 3,000 years between us
Right,
collectively.
right.
And
Yeah.
and just bringing our intuitive gifts, and what I love also about this, Hillary, I like Cathy had said, I'd never had my chart done. And when you did my chart, and I still have the video on my computer, and I look at it, and it's like you're telling me, I'm like, oh my God. And still today I go back to it and I look. What I love about that, it details who I am, but it also dovetails with the energy that I'm vibrating in at the moment. And it's like my soul calling me. And that
Hmm.
video is confirmation for me every time I go back and watch it. So what an experience that was for me.
That's so great. Details and dovetails. I wrote that down. That's a little sound
Notable
bite right there.
quotable.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, the thing also about the Three Wise Women, when we were setting it up, we basically said, we need to do something together. We want to do something together. What should we call it? And it all sort of fell into place. And I know I can speak for all three of us when I say this. We don't think we're wiser than anybody. We don't think we're smarter than
Thank you.
anybody. We don't think we're better than anybody. What we are is we've been around for a while. I'm actually very shortly celebrating a birthday, which is getting close to a bigger one. I just feel like me, as I know you both do as well. But I've had a lot of experience. I've been through a lot of things. I've, supported a lot of people, and we want to share that. We
Hmm.
share knowledge. We're not teaching, we're not saying do this like we do it. We're sharing knowledge for the upliftment and benefit for anybody who's interested in becoming part of our community.
I think it
So,
also helps people feel included. We're out there being, transparent and vulnerable and sharing ourselves in an authentic way. And I think it
mhm.
gives people the permission, if there is such a thing, that they too can step up. And we've had some great conversations in the group. Sorry, Hillary.
No, no, I was just going to say, just to be super clear, this is an online community forum that we host on a monthly basis for anybody tuning in to Mystical Messages just now. The Three Wise Women is an online community for anybody interested in the metaphysical realm. So, to your point, I mean, this is just wide open. There's no limit. I mean, other than a few housekeeping parameters that we have for the sessions. It's the first Tuesday of every month. It lasts for about an hour, 15 hour and a half. And the pricing is $10 per month or 110 for the year to join. It's a membership. And I know that many of the people that have joined it either have been through my clientele or Cathy or Vee's clientele, or it's just simply word of mouth. And it's spreading and it's growing with each month. So that's really exciting.
It is
Go ahead.
exciting. And to your point, I just wanted to add to that, we record it. So if you can't make it, for a month or half of a session or whatnot, you can go back and listen to the recording, which is very, very helpful, I think. Because one of the things we do, just to move into the format, we start out, we always have, I don't know what we should call the topic or something we want to share about, but we start out with Miss Hilary Holly, and she does, I'm going to call it a forecast, but it's more than that. Because Hilary, I have a notebook filled with notes that I take during the session.
Me too.
For me, and to share, like with friends and clients and such. So Hilary, you take us on a little journey. You don't just say and this and this and that. You explain why it's happening. Recently, you were explaining some things, and you actually went into the historical nature of it, that we haven't had something like this happen since X, Y, and Z, and then you
Right.
explain what that means. For me, who doesn't know how to write a chart, read a chart, that's invaluable.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
And it helps us also, V, wouldn't you agree? It helps us make some decisions sort of for the upcoming month or weeks or, even past. It's like
It also
advice.
helps me understand why I feel like I feel sometimes, right? Because we get a lot of the people that come on and, they're walking around and they're oblivious to the energy, right, in the universe. I mean, not oblivious to it, but they don't know how to label it. And when
Right.
Hilary says, hey, it's a shit show out there. And, for one, feel like I could walk a little bit more with ease and like, oh, it's not me, it's not me.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Or
absolutely.
I've found in my practices, and I think the two of you may have also experienced this, that, in these truly unsettled, unprecedented, so overused word, but it is really the only accurate word we can
Yeah.
use, that it helps the astrology, the giving it a language around the energetic forces, the twists, the turns, the plot twists, the surprise curveballs coming at us. It can say, oh, this is why that's happening, or this is what my clients are dealing with. And so it helps us to serve our populations better.
I agree. I agree totally. And then after that, we kind of move into, to be honest with you, I think really sometimes, many times, the energy of the astrological forecast helps us to firm up what we want to sort of discuss, with people. It's matched very well.
No
Um,
coincidence.
yeah, that's right. Synchronicities for sure, V. So then what we end up doing after that, which I think is delightful, is well, we share with whatever the topic might be about our own experiences. Like V, what you said earlier, we just lay it all out there because we don't have anything to hide. Now, I would say, we expose ourselves. We're not showing any body parts because that would be a whole nother story.
Nobody wants that.
That's right. Nobody would want to see that.
You're
But
gone.
yeah, but we're exposing or we're sharing experiences that we've had, struggles that we've had, because what we're trying to show here, to your point earlier, is giving people permission, if that is such a thing that they need, to understand that we all have stuff like this, and together we can move through it more easily. And then we give them a chance to share. Like, so people that are on the call with us that night, they share what's going on with them. And that's one of my favorite parts because we're all in this together.
Yeah, I love
We
it.
really are.
It's really providing a safe space for people who have always been metaphysically curious to ask any question. How does energy work? So we've had a number of different topics. We've talked certainly about your fields, the intuitive, spiritual field guiding, what that looks like. We've talked about mediumship, we've talked about astrology, Reiki, how energy moves, how we can feel different energy move. I mean, what am I missing?
Well, the other thing that we talk about is how all of that affects one time. Remember, we had the month where we had the session about the dark side of the moon, so to speak, or the dark, the challenges in our lives and what we've come through, what challenges we've personally experienced.
The shadow.
The
Yeah.
shadow side, yeah.
Yeah.
And then using our own examples opens the hearts and the minds, of the participants to really connect and converse about it. And there's healing that happens because we get some emails later, hey, dear three wise women, thanks for that. That really, really, really supported us. And then we're open to anybody who's in our collective here. Hey, can you talk about this? Can you explain this? Somebody's asked, and I'm happy to do this in the future. I really want to teach and share knowledge around the brain waves so that people understand how the brain waves work and how we can connect with the dead peeps, as I call them, or a higher power, your intuitive side. So we're open to receiving questions and suggestions for topics.
I think I don't know if I can speak for both of you, but for me, I learn, like, that's my fun time. I love learn, like, I think my brain is like absorbing everything. And at this age, I get to go, what do I really want to focus on? And so
Yeah.
at 62, I just became certified in silent counseling, which is working with the energy in the body and the meridians and helping women, men, people figure out exactly where the energy isn't flowing in the body. And that to me, I think we're ushering in, this is big, but I think the three of us are ushering in a new way of being and healing and sharing that, because I don't know that there's anything out there like us doing this in three, right? We're all in tandem with each other, playing on each other. So I'm really proud of how we get to share our learnings with everybody that comes on.
Yeah, and I do believe because this is a critical juncture that we are in the history, the developmental history of mankind. I mean, nobody alive has lived through these developmental shifts. We're going from Homo sapien to Homo luminous, and which is the equivalent of going from Neanderthal to Cro-Magnon. And so it is this massive shift, and it's also happening at lightning speed. And, anybody that is feeling wonky, including ourselves, I mean, we're being bombarded with solar flares and the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's heartbeat, all of these things, these measurements and these tools that we're seeing and we're witnessing, we're discussing on the Three Wise Women. And it's like, oh, you experience that too. And it's a way to safely explore, but I don't want to say necessarily normalize it, but to know that other people are experiencing phenomena too, and that we can, our guests, our members can certainly connect with each other offline as well. So it's not just connecting with us who have the experience in these realms, but it affords a community of like-minded people.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. One of my favorite parts of our session, see, that's hard to say because I like when you're doing your astrology, I'm like, this is my favorite part. And then I'm like, oh God, Vee's sharing something very personal. This is my favorite part, But one of the favorite parts to me is when we open it up. So we have a rough outline, but we really go with the flow, of spirit and such. But I love it then when we open it and we say to our beauties, which by the way are male and female. We have men and women joining us.
One's welcome.
Yeah, everybody's welcome. And we then say to them, what's on your heart? What can we help you with? It doesn't have to be anything that we discussed tonight. Is there an issue we can support you on? Is there a problem? Is there a joy and that's so great because then we just sort of go into, like, Hilary, you might say, well, now this is me not being very wise in charts. Your Virgo is rising into a conjuncture with Neptune.
Wait, I'm not an astrologer, but I play one on TV.
I would get fired off the show. And then, or V, you might say, okay, here's what I'm really getting on that, and then I'll say, well, your father from spirit is advising. I love that part. And then we do some card pulls sometimes as well.
Right.
Right.
That's what always blows me away, how the card pulls for the group, or sometimes V and Cathy will do card pulls for individual members in the group that exactly resonate with the astrology. I mean, it's like you just can't make this up. You see it one way, you see it another. So,
And that we're talking about two different decks in two different states, And again, that's my point about the connection. And V, you said that you're not sure if anything like this exists. Well, I'm sure it doesn't because of the three of us and the way we do it. But my point about bringing that up is that I feel very strongly, coming from a background in healthcare, 27 years as a chiropractic physician, I've got a lot of science up here in this noggin. And I believe that science is a language that we use to explain things. Like, we all know that gravity exists, but gravity existed before we knew there was such a thing as gravity. And we named it gravity only so that we could call it something, so that we could communicate about it. And my point is that, Hilary, yes, you're highly intuitive, but you're following this art and science. I mean, when people see their charts and what you do and the calculations and the measurements, and it's like phenomenal. And V, okay, yes, you're using your highly intuitive brain, but also you're working with men and women, mostly women, who are in business, and it's very practical, very down to earth. And I think that's what makes this such a success is blessings on every level of spiritual supporter, blessings on us all. And we're going to be enjoyed by people who maybe have their feet on the ground while their head is in the stars, so to speak, because we're just, shall I say, normal, regular,
Right.
not too far out.
The question is exactly. I remember somebody saying when I said to them, I moved to a new neighborhood a few years ago, and I was introducing myself to all the new neighbors, and I said, what do you do? And I would say, I'm an astrologer, and they would look at me, and I was like, so what do you think an astrologer looks like? And here I am in my like LL Bean turtleneck and my blue jeans, It's like, I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't have a trifoil hat.
I never go out without my crystal ball. I'm never.
Yeah, there you go. Years and years ago, I was doing a group with a dear friend and medium, a colleague of mine, and we were sitting in the room. The people were, coming in for a group session, and we struck up this conversation with this lovely, lovely man, and we were just chatting away with him. And at one point, he said, well, so what are the mediums like? And we realized that he didn't know it was us, And so we're like, well, they're a little strange, and they wear turbans, and don't let that, And so then when he realized that was like, yeah, we're normal. We're very, no crystal balls.
Regular people.
Regular people. You're not coffee. I used to tell people I don't shrink heads or boil chicken bones, but if you do, I'm like, you do you. I'm good with that.
That's right. But you know what, V, that's a good point, because I'm just being honestly honest here. There are, in anything, there's that spectrum, right? So we might fall in the middle or a little bit past the middle or so, but there are people in our businesses who are way out on the other end. Somebody like Bashir, who
Yes. Yes.
brings through channels, and there could be somebody way down on this end that would burn us at the stake, so to
Hmm.
speak. So we're all in that spectrum. I respect everybody, and I don't relate to everybody. So
Correct.
we're going to be relatable to, certain demographics, should we say?
Hmm.
All are welcome to come and check us out.
Hmm.
And you know what, Hillary, we should say how they can, uh, check
Yes.
us out.
So if you want to sign up for membership, please go to Cathy with a C, Cathy Ripley Greene.com. There is also a link from my website, hillaryharley.com. Cathy is Cathy. Ripley is Ripley. Greene is Greene.com under the Three Wise Women tab. And same with my website, it's under the Three Wise Women tab.
And my website is a work in process. Literally, it's in process. I've had some glitches waiting to get out of this shit show.
Yeah, yeah,
But we are working on it, so it will be accessible through Veronica Drake soon.
beautiful.
So
Yep.
the whole concept of the Three Wise Women was, I can speak for myself, vastly appealing when you originally brought this idea up, Cathy, because a significant part of why I created Mystical Messages podcast was when I was a budding astrologer, there was no way to connect to like-minded people. And it just added to the burden, so to speak. It was like, okay, I need to figure this out for myself. And now,
Yeah.
fortunately, we're in a very different place in our world where we have the internet and we have podcasts and all of these rich resources and tools. But one of the purposes of the podcast is not just to showcase my astrological monthly forecast, but the middle episode each month that comes out at the middle of the month features special practitioners, healing, gifted practitioners that I vet, that I've either had sessions with or that have come highly recommended, that I interview before the podcast. And both of you, certainly way surpassed my expectations.
We got A pluses, V.
Yeah. So, it is to show that it's not just Western modalities that are possible and Western philosophical ideas and theories. It is also to showcase any kind of alternative different, because my true belief is that it is left hand and right hand. It is both and it is not either or. I have all of my holistic practitioners that I go to, but I also have all of my allopathic Western, my internist, OBGYN, dentist, eye doctor, all of those practitioners. So, but it is just to bring to consciousness the array. It's like a buffet of options. And for people that are either struggling or just beginning their search, they're seekers, and to look and find what works for them, because each of us come to our specialty differently. And it's just like, frequencies or waves or energetic waves. Astrology is very cerebral. It's visual. It's a map. It's literally like a road map, picture of the sky. And the two of you, it's amazing to me because it's like you're pulling energy and knowledge from the ether.
but it's the same place that you're getting yours.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
That's the part where when we talk about the three wise women being about community, conversation, and connection, we're not just we're talking about it's another triad. It's the connection between the three of us. It's the connection between all of the people who attend our sessions. It's the connection then between whatever the cosmic connection, the spiritual connection, the intuitive connection. So that's a whole nother like three-way, three-way connection there, which I hear you. I think right now while we're talking, I'm having waves of goosebumps because this is exciting stuff. You know, whenever we get together, and we have a meeting before our group, and we talk about what we're going to talk about, and then by the time we have our session, it's always like completely different than what we talked about, but we have a recipe at least. Whenever we're together, all this intuitive stuff comes in, and right now as I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, I think we should add a part into our session where we actually call it something like energy therapy of the day, or because we did talk about Reiki, but maybe we could share more about the energy of Reiki or how it works or whatnot. And energy therapy of the day, I'm just thinking, Hilary, at your recommendation, as well as another friend, I went and tried the harmonic egg on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it would be so nice to talk about, so what I'm saying here is as we talk, things come to us, we bring them to the session. We do have a protocol, a format, and we it's very organic, right? It kind of morphs and changes.
But there's a loose structure that we adhere to.
Yeah, it's getting looser.
My guests are the inimitable Veronica Drake, and she can be found at veronicadrake.com, and Cathy Ripley Greene, Cathy with a C, Greene with an E.com. And we are the Three Wise Women. We offer monthly meetings the first Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. Eastern, $10 a month. Come join us for community, conversation, and connection. Bring all of your wildest woo questions. We are here as a safe space for you to explore. So, V, how did you actually get into your line of work?
My gosh, that's a great question.
I know it's a long and winding road.
I listen, I've been doing this work professionally for 20 years. I've been in the trenches. I would have to say the catalyst to all of this was in 1996 when I went to take my life. I was going through stuff, obviously, but that was the most beautiful moment in my life because I had actually had a divine intervention connection. And I would like to say, boom, it was magical and it happened, but I went through another 10 years of, down and up and down. And I became a coach, a spiritual life coach, a spiritual counselor through the University of Metaphysics. I'm trained in metaphysics, ontology, the study of being, not psychology, the study of thought, but ontology, why we be. And so off of that, I would get clients that I was coaching, and I would just know things about them. And I would be able to look at their body, and I would be able to see why something's not working, tummy issues, and I didn't have the language because I'm not a medical professional, and I don't play one on TV. So I would just say things like, it would be in your best interest, if you got your tummy checked out or whatever. And so off of that, I fell in love with oracle cards, and I started using them, and all to say that it was divinely ordered. I was going to get in this no matter what. And I had to have that catapult. I call it one of the D's: death, disease, disaster, divorce hits you. And by
Triple
the way,
D. It's not diner, drive-ins, and dives.
I had all the D's, and that's what opened the door for me. So yeah. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think anybody, and that is something I think we do speak to in this group with our members, is that when you're on this path, it is not for the faint of heart. And you do go through ego deaths and some not so pleasant human, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual experiences. And again, we offer a source and a resource of comfort and safe space to ask those questions. Is this normal? What did this feel like for you? Everything is really free to ask with this
I agree.
community.
Some of the people that are in the group, well, first of all, we get to know them because they're coming, every month. But some of the people that are in the group are people that I already know from my line of work or my clients or whatnot. And there are some who are in their own, well, we all are always in our development, no matter what level we're on. But some of the people have taken classes and workshops. Some of the people are making their very own connections, may even have clients and such. But we're just further out in the field, or we're traveled further down the road, and there's always little advices. And also, one thing that I'm going to suggest that we mention here, or I'm just going to mention it, when we're doing the Zoom call, we do have the chat open. And so people are allowed to privately or anonymously put in a question, a concern, or a comment in the chat, and we can address that, even if they don't want to ask a question and be, noticed for it, so to speak. So there's a really nice element of that. But everybody is so supportive of each other.
Yes. That's what's been really encouraging for me, is how supportive a community it has turned out to be. Anything else we want to share about the Three Wise Women? $10 a month, $110 for a year membership. We meet the first Tuesday of every month at 6 o'clock Eastern, and we are growing. Please join us and discover. Go ahead, Vee.
I want to throw this out there because I am the neurodivergent one in the group. Thank you, because this season showed me that. That was the good gift to come out of
This
it.
season of Three Wise Women.
Yeah. So here's a challenge, and the other ladies don't know I'm doing this, so watch their faces as you watch this podcast. Like, oh shit, what's she going to say? Listen, we started out and we said an astrologer, and an intuitive, and a medium walked into a bar. Okay, so here's what I want to know. I am willing to personally give a free 30-minute session to the person that can finish that and make me laugh.
Oh, that's so clever.
An astrologer, an intuitive, and a medium walked into a bar, fill it in, and make me laugh, and I will gift you a 30-minute reading.
I love that. That's going in the show notes for our
serious.
episode.
I don't
That's
know.
great.
I want to laugh. I love laughing. I think getting people involved in the energy of fun and the energy of laughing, I think it just heals, right?
Yeah, it is a high vibration. Vee, that's such
extra bonus points if it's X-rated. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, there you go. Vee, that's so great. Years ago, I worked with a medical doctor, and we did these presentations where we called it a medical doctor, a medium, and a dead man walk into a bar, ... An open conversation about death and dying is what we called it. Oh, I'm gonna have to think about that too. That is
I need to know what y'all are thinking about.
I love that. I love that.
An astrologer, an intuitive, and a medium walked in a bar. Well, first of all, Hilary, how would you come? I'd come with my turban and my crystal ball in my hand. I don't know. I'm just like picturing my neurodivergent
I
mind.
have my magic wand pointing to the stars.
Yes, you can bring your magic wand. Yeah. And I actually wouldn't be there physically. I would just
tuning in.
I would come in on an energy stream. I would come in on a frequency. Oh my gosh. Well, we do like to have fun, and we do have fun. We do take our work seriously. We're very, very very, very
Dedicated.
proud of what we've been able to experience all these years. We're very, very serious about supporting, uplifting,
Mhm.
encouraging, helping along your healing path. But what we don't do is really take ourselves too seriously. We don't have big egos. We don't have, oh, we're confident in our work, but we're here to enjoy and to be with you in the energy of joy. And so I hope you join us. I hope you check out the Three Wise Women.
Yes. So that brings us, sadly, to the end of our conversation. I mean, the time always flies when we're together
Oh, yeah.
as a group, and we look forward to all of our listeners today joining us, the Three Wise Women. You may find links to the membership on CathyRipleyGreene.com or HilaryHarley.com. There are tabs on both of our websites. And again, my wonderful, really gifted colleagues, and so joyful, each of you. It is really a blessing to work with each of you.
Right back at you, Hillary.
Veronica Drake, veronicadrake.com, and CathyRipleyGreene.com. So we would love to have you join us. We are three veteran metaphysical practitioners offering connection and conversation to explore all of your wildest woo questions. Join us the first Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. Eastern via Zoom. $10 a month for each session, or $110 per year. To learn more about my work or to book a session with me, please visit hilaryharley.com. If you would like to read my monthly forecast to check dates of planetary events and cycles, you may find the full transcript for all astrology episodes on my website. Thank you so much for listening today. Please join me again in 2 weeks when I will bring you the forecast, the astrology forecast for the month ahead. I wish you many blessings as you journey forward.